Okay, we're back with another episode of the Rams game, hosted over on the Reddit Dominions Discord. Blackmane, how you doing today?
I'm great. Looking forward to some Dominions. How are you, Torsion?
I'm doing well. I'm taking a look at this. We're seeing not a whole lot of action for turn 71. Um,
Hmm. Well, we'll see if there's any big battles in here, I guess.
yeah, we've got a battle at the
Battling on.
at Ulm, which might be interesting. Um, yeah, and we'll see what else we got.
Yeah, let's see where these battles are at, maybe.
Ooh,
Ooh, that's a pretty convincing win.
interesting army comp, I guess, from Shamba, if that's the word for it. Let's actually hold on. Let's take a look. Where is this? Okay, so this is right outside. Who owns this throne, right?
That must be
Oh, this is someone besieging the throne. Oh, this is Shamba's army.
Sham besieging.
I think TC owns it.
Yeah, I think that's TC's. Oh, or
Oh, it's
maybe it's Ulm.
Olm's.
Okay. Yeah, Ulm took it a while ago, I think.
Yeah, okay. And then, okay, so they're basically cutting off Olm's ability to push them off of that throne, if you will. So we can
Yep.
take a look at this fight. So, decent amount of crossbows on the Olmish side.
Yeah.
A lot of gear on this guy. I guess he's just
Oh,
kitchen
that
sink,
looks like
maybe?
maybe Ulm's gone AI, possibly.
Oh, yeah. Or just kitchen sinking at this point.
Yeah,
But
could also just be gem baiting, maybe with a bunch of random stuff.
yeah, the
One
Shamba
does not
side
normally put a work tool on a thug.
is the standard bit he's been running on these guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing
Shadowbrands.
too extraordinary here. A few death gems on the Lich. Let's see what he casts. Just horde of skeletons. Okay.
Yeah, a bit of chaff out the front.
Yeah.
Really handy if you can synchronize it well with your thugs. Just kind of, it means they don't get defense. Their defense doesn't get lowered by harassment as much if you just surround them with some skellies.
Yeah. A lot of crossbows coming in. Don't think it's actually going to end up doing anything though.
Nah.
Yeah. And down goes the knight. Now these crossbows will just eat it as soon as Shamba closes.
And some skellies. Yeah, they come. You might get a fear out relatively quickly, even. And they're holding on. Surprising. There's 2 or 3 Shadowbrands in there. Oh, no, it's the Banefire ones that have fear, I think. These don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does
Banefire.
have fear on the helm there.
Yeah, he does.
No fear coming.
Regardless, very clean.
Yep. So that was over here. Big fight over on Ulm. Okay, this is outside the fortress.
Yeah.
A mishmash on the Ulmish side.
Mechanicals.
Where are these
Oh no,
scorpions coming
it's
from?
Nold's weapons. Might be summoning them.
Yeah,
Just like summoned stuff.
not sure it's the best summon.
I don't think it's amazing, but he probably has limited options.
Yeah.
Better than just dying with gems.
We see in the tournament finals the Ulm player uses the ogres as a summon. Um, I think those work pretty well. Interesting that the flying ship is on this thing.
Hmm.
Very expensive artifact.
I guess this guy is ferrying the force, leadership 220. Although then there's a bunch of undead who can't be ferried by him.
Yeah.
Guessing he just brought over some sacreds, maybe.
Air Queen.
So I'm guessing this will be a Fog Warriors.
Another Air Queen, but no gems. How do I select that? This guy. Single gem. Okay. So maybe
Pretty
just
basic kids.
not a whole lot that Yiz can throw up here, right? Maybe a storm and... Yep, a storm
Yep.
and a bunch of T-strikes.
But then Orm doesn't have much here either, really.
Yeah.
No Magma Warriors, that's what they need. Probably better to have used those Earth Gems on Magma Warriors.
Oh, something was able to throw up Wrathful. Okay.
Ah, Wrathful, okay. Storm Wrathful, fair enough.
Yeah, that should do the trick, although... We're
Orm's
not...
gonna kill
able...
kind of everyone. The Corpse Constructs have lightning resistance, so they're pretty
Yeah,
good.
they have it on their Bless as well, so I guess that's okay.
Well, SR5 won't protect you from lightning. Even 10 isn't really enough. You need 15.
Against Wrathful?
Yeah. You can see that it's killing the Corpse Constructs. How much shock resistance do they have?
15.
Yeah, they've even got 15. They're still getting killed by it. He's done alright, but honestly, I think the Wrathful Sky has kind of did as much damage to him as it did to Orm at this point.
Which may be a little bit of bad luck, but... Yeah, those Olmish, whatever, Scorpions and Cave Drakes didn't take a ton of hits.
No. Looks like they're running now.
Yeah.
A thug in the back. I think if Orm had put up Magma Warriors, he would have won this.
Really? You think it would have been that significant a difference?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you look at Yiz's side, there's really not a lot left. This is very close to a HP route.
Yeah.
Hold a bit longer. And I mean, some of these thugs are not... These thugs will die to elites, like the Lord of Winters is not particularly kitted. Especially if you got Keen Blades up as well.
Yeah, they did lose a whole lot of chaff.
Still, they won. Well
Yep.
done. Good attempt to hold by...
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
So this is Yiz dropping on... What? Fog Warrior? This has got to be a misclick, right?
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be in the battle.
This, yeah, that's supposed to be in the big fight.
Yeah. Which would have
Okay.
made it much more convincing for Yiz. So,
Yep, that makes
fair
a
enough.
big difference.
Yeah, it would have completely wiped Orm. If not for that.
Yep, now you're fatigued out. Oh, yeah.
And dead.
Yeah. He is punching back against Ryugo.
Into Shinu.
Very interesting. Okay, so Shinu immediately throws up Howl. Oh, wow. Okay. We have some nice artifacts here on the Shinu side. You have a Mute Dione holding Start a Battle, and then you can also do Call the Wild. And Oils of Sharpness. So all these guys immediately have Weapons of Sharpness.
Yeah, which would just obliterate everything.
And they
It's one of
have
the most powerful artifacts.
the Immortal Wailing Winds caster. And this cool little hero.
I think it's common for people to really underestimate how important AP weapons are. In Dom 5, a lot of Dom 5 is around the concept of defense buffing and protection buffing. And
Honestly, they may not even use the sharpened weapons in this battle.
that's true. They might just win purely with those bows.
The positioning of the mages in a closer position than the crossbows is a little odd on the Ulm side. So yeah, they are losing a bunch of mages just to bow fire.
Could be. I mean, is this more suggestion that maybe Orm is AI at this point? Is there any way for us to find out? I think we can from the pretender screen, right? Because we're in an omniscience.
Yes. Should be able to see
Dang
that.
it, I mean, Orm had a good run. There's no shade at this point for, you know, not trying to carefully script their armies.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would blame them.
Okay, now they're coming forward.
But the fact that there was no Magma Warriors and there's some odd positioning means they're just kind of throwing everything at the bucket or at the wall rather, or
Yeah.
maybe they've got AI.
It's interesting that he continues to use bows when combined with this hero, which I believe start of battle throws up that natural storm. Yeah. Kind of a self-defeating strat, especially when you have the oils. Figured these guys on attack would be better than fire. What are your
I
thoughts on
think
that?
the idea is that magic bows are supposed to go through storm. I suspect I did test this a little while ago, and I suspect it doesn't work, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, no, that's my understanding. That was the belief, but you need a special tag on the bow, rather than for it to just do magic damage. It needs an additional tag that's required for it to, based on what Logi found.
But I think it's a common misconception that if you have magic damage on your bow, then it will go through storm.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look here. Thunder's Olm is AI. Okay. Yeah, makes a little more sense.
So why don't we have a look at where these fights against Ryugo and Yiz are occurring?
Let's see here. Okay, so Ryugo took this fort, consolidated a number of their mages in the area onto it. They did raid pretty heavily throughout Yiz's cap circle, and Yiz seems to be taking it back. I don't see a lot of Ryugo forces outside of that army.
No, where are Ryugo's forces?
They gotta have more than this, right?
Yeah, that's not a lot. Not quite sure what they're doing. So slowly pushing Yiz, but definitely slowly.
Yep. And then Atlantis, still not doing a whole lot.
Nah, kind of just chilling. Probably checked out. I think once you've entered late game like this, sometimes it becomes relatively clear who are the people who have really got the chance to win.
Ooh,
and it's not unusual to see.
That Shinu army's on that Ulm throne. Good on them. So that puts Shinu on 2 thrones. Geography's still a little bit tricky for them. Yiz grabbing it here, so Yiz still has 2. Shamba is on 1, 2, 3,
4.
If they grab this, it would be 4. Because they lost the underwater throne.
Yep.
Yep. And Atlantis has just the 1. Yeah. Okay, so that's turn 71. Shall we jump into 72?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's see here.
This is a more active turn, that's for sure.
Messenger from Shamba. Stressful turn. Remaining players are aware and need 1 more throne to win and will be expecting this. But it may turn out to surprise them. I've essentially depleted all my items and gems to fully commit virtually all my summons. If this fails, I will struggle to survive the falling coalition. The army I'm dropping on a Shinu throne is as strong as I can make it. If I've calculated the gem usage correctly, fight 5 battles in a row. I'm simultaneously trying to take as many provinces as I can from Shinu, lock down, which is smart. At the same time, Iron Walled their thrones against Atlantis and Ryugo. Okay. On further reflection, if this does fail, I have a huge number of undeployed mages and a dedicated master and slave caster with pen +9.
He's fine.
Okay. Whoa. Must be what he's talking about.
It's a big army.
So what do we got here? Light of the Northern Star probably coming off of a banner.
Yep.
We have the Eye. We have the Necklace of Power for Divine Blessing right off the bat.
Anti-magic, divine blessing. This would be the
This must be their pretender, yeah. Ton of nature gems.
max on nature gems, opening up relief.
Ton of air gems on this guy. Here's the banner. Ton more air gems. A lot of air gems.
Lots of air.
Astral. Earth. Yeah, he's got all his bases covered.
So you can do a pretty cool thing if you need to fight, if you suspect multiple battles. I don't know if he's doing it here, where you stagger. Say you really want Fog Warriors up and you have lots of mages, you just desperately need it up. You can cast Fog Warriors, hold, or whatever other spells you want. And then the next mage casts is hold and then Fog Warriors, and so on. And so once the first mage has fought enough battles that they've run out of the gems, then the second one won't cast Fog Warriors if it's already up. So you can use it to kind of guarantee. Wow. Okay.
AoE Soul Slay on these
very
things
strong.
is hilarious. Granted, it's against province defense, but it's still funny to see.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Okay, so there is one Shamba force. Let's take a look on the map. Okay, so we have the Shamba force here. Broke the throne.
Really just slammed into as many.
The Great Eagles are very nice for the siege bonus.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah, I guess they'll carry some siege strength.
And they're going to be good for the storm because they're ethereal.
Yeah. Has some siege strength here. He actually doesn't have a ton of siege strength in this. Had Shinu had something like Iron Walls up, wouldn't be cracking this, right? Unless I'm missing something.
He may have cast Shatter, but otherwise, yeah, it's not that much.
It's 16.
160
so 160.
Up to 80.
50 here. Another 100 here. So there's 300. Maybe 500 tops.
Somewhere in this range.
Yeah.
What type of fort is it? 250. So he's got plenty.
Yeah, but Iron Walls at turn 72 is not super uncommon.
Yeah, or it could have been in a Wizard Tower, for example.
Yeah.
There was some phase towers earlier.
But yeah, he is all over Shinu here. With Archdevils.
Really locking him down.
Yeah.
Is a great play.
Yeah, and most of Shinu's forces are down here.
Trying to get that Ulm throne. Really did come down to the geography, didn't it? Shinu had to overextend in order to start getting those thrones.
Let's see what else we have. Ooh, Scourge the Deep on the Atlantis side.
Oh. Fantastic summon.
Yeah, not a whole lot of response. Oh, this is interesting.
Must have been a bump. Is that little force again?
Okay, yeah, he just doesn't have the spirit this time, throwing up the storm.
Maybe realized that some of the projectiles were not getting through.
Where?
Yeah, that will trash. That's what Atlantis was.
Um, didn't Atlantis have a spirit? Did it just... Oh, it just ate a bunch of bows right off the bat.
Ooh.
That's interesting, because this thing's a... Oh, it's magic damage coming off
Yep.
the bows, yeah.
And it has very low prop, so...
Yep. On these? Oh, yeah, there's decent gear on them. That's going to be tough for Atlantis.
Yeah. Is that the Orb of Atlantis? Oh, it threw away an artifact. Oh, I guess I didn't expect there to be a bump. That's unfortunate. Unless Atlantis is also AI now. It's possible. That is very AI-ish.
Don't believe so. Yeah, this was just an unfortunate bump onto Ulm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shinu locked down. AI Ulm pushing back. Just Shamba taking that last fort.
Yep.
Attack. Geographically, Dragon's pushing out again against Yiz. I don't know. This army enough really to take Yiz's capital? Probably not.
Not.
Yeah.
Depends what users got up their sleeve.
Yeah, but the big move obviously is going to be this fort. What the players can do to counter Shamba's throne rush here.
Yeah, we'll see if they have enough coordination. Because I think that if they don't stop at this turn, Sham just wins. Which, honestly, if they do, well deserved. I think they've played exceptionally well. And this was the perfect timing to make a strike.
Shall we jump into 73?
Let's see how it goes. Wow, a lot of battles.
So this is Shinu. Oh, Shamba continuing their attacks on locking down Shinu.
Yep, just throwing everything at it by the looks.
Ooh, I'd like to watch this.
Very well done. Yeah.
Ah.
Is it just mass wellies?
Water bottle and some gear. Yes, these are decent stats. It's sacred. What's holding it? Global?
Holding a global. Okay.
Yeah, 21 defense plus whatever they get from their bless. It's gonna be pretty hard to hit. And I doubt this guy's got... Yeah. Oh, tactical 20 is pretty good.
Yeah.
But
relatively even.
we have a welly on the Atlantis side.
Let's see. Let's open up that prop.
Oh, another water elemental coming up. Emperor Flesh. Emperor Armor. Mist Form. It's off.
All right. Jumps in.
Oh, we have 3 elementals. Okay, so let's see what we got here. 32 hit points, 33 prot, attack 23, defense 15. Defense 21, hit 13, prot 22. So if this guy takes one bad hit, he's dead.
Yeah, especially it's like 5 attacks versus 1. I think we're about to see some lucky DRN rolls.
Yeah, and that Vine Shield's already damaged right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, those water elementals are out of position. Hit 0, hit 0. Hit in the head for 0? That sort of rolls.
Head. Damage roll -10. Oh, because it's the shock. Right.
And damage roll -11.
Mirror image negated the damage. So they'll hit mirror image.
Okay. Yep.
And some good repels.
Yep. Defense resistance. Okay, and now the welly's back.
Oh, line shielded.
Oh, even though it's damaged, it was still the effect. Okay.
It's not destroyed, so it still managed to trigger. Now I think he's taking damage from the wellies.
And he switched his target. The wellies.
Yep. Not looking good from now.
But yeah, I think that's pretty lucky.
Yeah. Lucky not to get wiped from that initial hits.
He's down to 6.
Oh, swapped form.
Into dragon form.
Which means the proc just dropped massively, so
Yep.
should be the end.
Yep.
There we go. A little lucky, but well done, yes.
Yeah, they went for Yiz's capital with that force. Interesting.
Pushing it. Maybe Yiz is out of position. Might be able to catch him out.
Yeah, they did have a lot of their forces committed on Ulm. Probably rotating back right now. Interesting build on this guy. Why?
I think probably whatever they've got.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's fine. Ray Sword's very good.
Yeah, I'm just the rhyme. Like that only works in cold provinces, right?
Shinu's probably cold 3, maybe. Sometimes Shinu goes heat.
Oh, okay.
But normally cold. So that might be why.
Yeah.
Atlantis attacking Ryugo.
Is this the storm? Oh, they seem to attack him in a few spots here.
Oh, yep.
But
Ryugo's now under pressure from Atlantis.
yeah.
Atlantis has quite a good matchup against Ryugo in mid to late.
Really? Even with the gem advantage on the temp gems on Ryugo's side?
So Ryugo gets the temp gems, which are a big advantage. But Atlantis in mid to late, wellies are not that strong anymore. And Atlantis can do really quite well against them because they have a lot of very high damage attacks. And they can very easily fluff body ethereal. So you can't just win with mass water elementals into mid to late game like that, especially against an Astral Nation, which has good troops to buff.
So these things kill a number of the lions. Is that just because the lions, yeah, they don't have
The fire resistance.
fire resistance?
So I think they're just taking damage from the fire shield.
Yeah.
Yep. But otherwise, not impactful, really.
Oh, interesting. Atlantis threw something at it.
Okay. Oh, there's something bugged with the... Oh, it's their pretender? Is that their pretender? No.
it doing?
No, it's just
Raises dead? What? Not even enough gems or items
that
to
not even
gem
gem
burn,
bait.
though.
Yeah. Probably all they had within range.
Yeah.
So everyone is really undercommitted here, I think. So I think this happens quite often. I've been in this situation. I've been absolutely terrified. Yeah, and then no one actually has anything really in position. Terrified, that is, of a massive.
Okay, this should
This is
gem
a gem
bait.
bait.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
see what Sham throws up.
I saw Living Clouds, Mass Flight, Ignite Souls,
Aerofend, Mass
Mass
Regen,
Regen.
Ground Army. Yeah, that seems to be
Yeah, that's good stuff.
more Living Cloud. Yeah.
So a good gem bait there.
Firefend, Fog Warriors, Relief.
Basically everything.
Will of the Fates. Yeah. But it looks like they killed... Oh, enough of the lions were on... Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
why
they
I had
didn't
that
get the
instead of
full
lions.
burn off. Those lions are so nice.
Yeah.
The fact that they're
Fantastic.
flying right away and an AoE. Just have a few of them. Yep, and Sham takes the fort.
Easily. Virtually no resistance. Troglodytes doing what they do best. There we go.
Yeah, fun fact here. Um, see Shamba on the Archdevil, the necklace
Oh, it auto claims thrones.
auto claims thrones. So
Huh? Actually
typically
didn't
in
know
this
that.
situation, you'd have to wait for the next turn. But Shamba did not.
Wow, extremely well played.
Yeah.
A little anticlimactic for a final battle, but I think that we had some really good ones.
Yeah, well played here by
And
Shamba. Just seemed relatively small in the beginning. Obviously, that little back and forth or stare down with Ryugo was interesting. I don't know if you remember, but the Ryugo god was sitting here, and Shamba had some armies nearby, and neither was doing a whole lot. But then
they kind of
Shamba,
watched each other for a while. Yeah, and it
yeah,
obviously made peace.
yep. Shamba played the move on Fascia very well. They committed hard and fast and came out with a throne as well as the capital there.
Yeah, very well played there.
And they were able to lean into the Ulm coalition, put the golems on the field to stop Ulm from winning when Ulm was on the precipice, but also not commit huge numbers of armies, and quite frankly, eat up TC, who had been drained by Ulm quite quickly, put themselves in this position.
Yeah, joined at the perfect moment, and then managed to kind of slingshot from being in second place very quickly up to first place and grab those thrones before anyone could really react.
Yeah, you see here, coming out of the expansion phase and even through a significant portion of the mid game, Shamba wasn't huge from a province count perspective, and then they turned it on. They took down Fascia quite quickly, and then waited a little bit again for that Ulm coalition. As soon as Ulm was done, they pounced, and they went hard and wiped out TC.
Yeah, really clean, like mid-game tech just into massive snowball in that game.
Yeah, you can see it again on forts. They weren't anything too impressive. Income was good. They had good scales, so their income, even though they were a little bit smaller, they were still in that middle of the pack, and then obviously separated themselves once they took the TC land.
They had good gem site searching from the very beginning.
Yeah, great
Shows how
site
important
searching.
it is.
And were able to leverage that gem power. You had those shark thugs, you had the golems.
Mm-hmm.
Good
And they
use of
made a huge
gems here
difference.
on the Shamba side.
I think that if they had not got those gems, got that research, and had those golems up, then Orm probably would have taken that throne and won.
Yeah, research as well. Even though they were smaller, and their fort count wasn't super impressive, their research held up quite well
Yeah, very
compared to their
solid.
contemporaries. Obviously, it's a little hard to see, but see that yellow line right at the top. Obviously, Ulm pulled away a bit, but
Yeah,
Shamba
which
had
they
enough
tend
to
to
get
do.
it done.
Yeah. Over research can also be a mistake. You really want to hit the right targets, which I think Sham definitely was.
Yep.
You don't want to be under research. You don't want to be over research.
So yeah, that's Rams game. Obviously, all the
Cool.
globals are gone, but GG
Why
Shamba.
don't we give like a little 20-second recap on our thoughts on each nation that's remaining?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, they went. How does that sound? So I mean, we just talked about Shamba. How about Ulm? I thought that Ulm was really in a dominant position to win, and frankly, I don't think they could have struck maybe a little earlier against TC. They got caught up a bit in that war, um, but really, it was just came down to a close battle. And in the end, they just got a little bit outplayed in terms of lacking that anti magic. That
Yeah,
was really the thing, wasn't
it's hard to fault Ulm too much.
it? Yeah, I agree.
They obviously they lost the Pretender versus Asphodel in that fight early, but still won that war handily. Their expansion
Yep.
was close to flawless. With that mercenary
Mm.
company, you can see on the province count, um, they were huge, coming out far and ahead, even of the quickness TC. So tremendous expansion from Ulm. I do think they committed a little heavily to the war with TC rather
Mm.
than necessarily taking the thrones specifically. They did make it a two-front war at times. I think they, and like you said, maybe a little bit slow, but otherwise well fought by Ulm.
Yeah, I don't think any of those. I don't think they made any major mistakes, other than maybe just losing the goal at the beginning, which is kind of just a poor luck.
Yep. And then we've
Um,
got Shinu. Um, I think
so Shinu, I
maybe
think, was two players in the end, right?
yeah. The first player did break out of their shell, I guess, to join the anti-Ohm coalition, and then another player picked it up. I think where Shamba timed their attack on Phasia appropriately and scaled or started scaling, Shinu never really did. Um, Obviously, they held a
Yeah,
number of
yeah.
globals and had a decent gem income because of that, but they just weren't at the size to compete once Ulm died.
I think it's actually this perfect dichotomy here, where we saw that Sham expanded, had this macro phase where they kind of didn't go into any wars, just got all their core tech down in that mid game, got good research up, did all their site searching, and then just exploded. Used that to then very rapidly attack weaker neighbors. And Shinu had the same kind of idea, a little bit smaller, but you see that then after this kind of early mid game period, at about the halfway point, when Dan starts using that tech, Shinu doesn't. And I think this kind of shows that. I mean, you don't have to just be fighting at all times in Dominions. You can have periods where you're just hitting your next timings, building up your army, but then you have to convert that into something. I guess it kind of sounds obvious in retrospect, but you can't just build up forever because you also need to start creating that momentum. Like Shamba managed to win because they then were large enough that they threatened enough thrones. But I thought that Shinu, particularly by the end, I mean, Shinu's armies were pretty terrifying.
Yeah,
Um,
I think too little, too late. I think
yeah,
Shamba picked the right time to break out, and Shinu waited too long. The game had
yeah,
passed
I
them by.
completely agree. They got to play a bit of a mini game though. I remember early they were just getting assaulted repeatedly by indies.
Yep.
So at least we got to have some fun there.
Dr-
Who's next?
Dragons, I guess. A little bit disappointing. We did have the player go largely AFK, which is unfortunate. Subbed the player out, and then the newcomer became quite a bit more aggressive. Um, but yeah, just
Yeah,
underutilized potential from the
yeah. I think that they
Dragons.
could have done a lot better here. There was this mid game period where they were like you said, they were basically AFK. So we never really got to see the dragon potential.
Yeah, and we
Um,
saw how well they were doing against Yiz. Um,
yeah, it would have been nice to see how this had gone if the game hadn't finished. Because now Atlantis is pushing in. And like I said, I think Atlantis does pretty well against Rigo. So if they have the right kind of army composition, they can do good things. Particularly because while dragons have a lot of very powerful map move, none of their thugs are stealthy. And you can magic phase underwater with any water mage, which is literally the entire lineup of Atlantis. Um, so you can catch Atlantis out with some good magic phase. Sorry, you can catch Ryugo out with magic phases as Atlantis.
yeah, and speaking of which,
Um,
let's switch over to Atlantis. They came out of the
well,
gate swinging. They did the takedown of Rely in that first war, and then maybe stagnated a little into the mid game. Worked with Shamba, Shamba against Phaecia, took them down pretty well, grabbed a throne out of it. But then I think Atlantis and Yiz, more than anyone else in the coalition, got caught carrying the brunt of it against Ulm.
yeah,
Um, and I think because of that, they expended a lot more resources than someone like Shamba did, stopping Ulm. And that might have hurt them as Shamba transitioned into that next phase of the game.
yeah, I think they could have, if they had been a bit more successful, been in a very strong position here. I think they're still at the end of this game looking very strong. Atlantis is, I played them recently in a big game, and I think as the game scales, like as the game goes longer, they actually become very powerful. They're quite a strong late game threat, particularly because I think people are not that familiar with them. They're not that popular, particularly early age and late age Atlantis are very popular, but middle age are not that popular. It's funny how many times I've mentioned how good the Kings of the Deep are, and people have said, "Oh, but it's a cap only unit, slow to recruit," without realizing it's not a cap only unit. So it shows how unfamiliar people are with this nation.
Yeah, it's similar to the Bakemono Sorceress
Yeah,
in that it's slow to recruit, but it's quite powerful.
yeah, you can get Water 5 or very rarely Water 6 from any Fort Mage, which is underwater really strong and great cross paths. This is an absolutely fantastic mage.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and their troops are just like if we look at this War Shambler, uh, this is just kind of their basic troop. They're expensive, but 27 damage is it's a lot of damage for just a troop that you're recruiting from any fort.
Yep.
With some buffs, these guys can really chew through armies. But they do suffer from being quite a slow nation outside of water. And I think we can see that a bit on that eastern front against Ulm. They just kind of got caught up trading units back and forth. They never quite committed enough. I understand why they did it. Ulm needed to be coalitioned, but I almost wonder whether if they had swung out of that, once it was clear Ulm was not going to win, maybe gone and pushed harder for that northeastern throne that Sham ended up winning off, and then swung into Ryugo at that point. Something like this.
Yeah, I think Atlantis, you can see here they did quite a bit of work on Ulm. Um, they killed Ulm, and I think they might have been better served by just stopping Ulm from winning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that they have how many thrones? One throne or two?
I believe it's just this one.
So if you look at the situation, they're very close to this northeast throne. So they may have been able to take that instead of Sham taking it.
Yep.
And then Ryugo has two thrones. So if they had committed to this fight earlier, they very well could have actually been also in a very strong position to win. I think that maybe there was, Sham still probably would have taken it, but I mean, these things are hindsight 2020. We can say this because we knew the overall state of the game.
No, no, no. We are
Atlantis,
Dominions
so
5 experts here. We have never made a misplay. We always
course
have
not.
perfect
We win every
strategic
game.
judgment. My win rate is over 100%.
Right? We both win every game that we're in, even if we're in the game together. That's
Exactly.
how good we are.
And then I think the
But I think
last.
Atlantis was generally well played.
Yep. Atlanta's in a clear position. It's just Shamba snowballed so well coming out of that Ulm coalition. I think
Yep.
had Shamba struggled a little bit, Atlantis is very well positioned to take this victory.
Yeah, I agree.
Geography isn't amazing for them, but one throne there, the Yiz throne, there's three, and then Ryugo's
4 or
throne,
5.
etc. 4 or 5.
Yeah,
So
they could have taken it.
yeah, and
And then we just have Yiz left, I think, of the survivors.
yes. So
What's your
Yiz, their fight with Phaecia wasted so many resources.
Yeah.
I don't know Yiz well enough to say whether or not Phaecia was the right target, but at some point it was like it just wasn't worth it. And I think they stayed in that fight a little bit too long. You had Flegra struggling mightily. I think they were ripe for the taking. Obviously, TC ate them, but Yiz was well positioned to do so.
Yeah.
And I think unfortunately got caught in a forever war. And Atlantis and Shamba reaped the benefit of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can't remember, there was another stream that talked about this concept. I think it might have been a Lucid stream of the importance not only of entering wars but also exiting them. And it's why it's so important to generally just be a nice person in your Diplo and Dominions, because often you get into wars and they don't go how you planned. And you're not losing, but you're not winning. And those wars are wars. You should nap that person, find an agreeable border. You may have to give up some land. That's okay, and then eat the juicier target. And I think that Yiz struggled to exit, for whatever reason, struggled to exit the war with Phaecia. Maybe they thought they were doing better than they were. Maybe Phaecia was very stubborn. It's possible. There's maybe something like this. But it really, yeah. I think if that hadn't have happened, Yiz would have been in a much stronger position. But you're right, that really just ground them to a halt for a long period of time. In terms of the matchup, it seems like it would be strong. Certainly, Phaecia, I mean, Yiz is sailing. And look at Phaecia's starting area. That's just absolutely brutal. But of course, Phaecia gets sailing too, so it's not really an advantage there. I think the big thing is that, which we saw, is that Phaecia is a Thunderstrike nation. And 5 SR is not enough to protect your Morvarks. So they got that Morvark attrition, which is what you really don't want.
If you were Yiz, seeing your neighbors, obviously Atlantis probably not the best matchup, but then you had Ulm, you had Shamba, you had a bit of Flegra. So you come out of that Phaecia war, you've pieced out quickly. Who do you go for next?
Well, I think I completely agree with you that Flegra was right for vulturing. And Flegra was mostly using this kind of quirky twice-born sacred giant, white giant build. And Morbark Knights with great swords of sharpness would just eat that for breakfast. So you could win that very easily. So I think that would have been the right play, was to clean out what was left of Flegra. After that, it's hard to say, right? Because then the situation would have been very different.
Yep.
I mean, I think that the right target for Yiz, ultimately, which I think they did, I'm not sure how much whether they fought them at all, was TC.
They did
because
not have a
TC had a
huge border with them, unfortunately. But
yeah, it
taking
might have
down
been a bit too
Flegra,
difficult.
they may have had a path had they moved
Yeah,
through
maybe through
Flegra.
Figma they could have done something.
Yep.
Otherwise, yeah, it's difficult. I mean, maybe you eat Flagra and then you turn back on Fascia once they're being attacked by Sham. It's a possibility.
Yep.
Or at that point, you join the coalition against Ulm. Right? Ulm's big. Yiz can expand very quickly across territory. Their Morbark Knights will clean out everything except Guardians, and a lot of Ulm has low MR, right? So you can really abuse your Druids with Enslaved Mind or Soul Slay, this kind of thing. So yeah, probably into Ulm. I mean, I think that we're doing fight at the end, fighting Ulm.
Yep.
That makes sense. They just got slowed down too much by Fascia early. But otherwise, yeah, again, not too bad at all.
Yeah. And
At some point, then Ryugo attack them at that point. I mean, the other option here, they don't really have a path through. Really, what you'd want to do is convince Atlantis to fight Ryugo and then kind of help them a bit until you are cut off, and then let those two war while you do something else.
yeah.
Yeah. Which it looks like is basically what's happening now. Yeah, so I guess that's everyone alive.
Yeah, and special thank you to the players for letting us cast this. As we mentioned before, we are experts in Dominions and we don't make mistakes, so apologies if it felt critical at times, but if you want, you can go watch some of my single player or multiplayer, but my perspective on Chaco. I was losing Wuya on turn 8 during expansion. So there's some good clips of my skills in Dominions out there if you're looking for them. But
Clearly, if we've said anything here which was false information, that's just because Illwinter stealthily, or Red Rob stealthily updated the game on mod to change things.
yeah, that too.
It's not possible that we gave you inaccurate information. That's just.
But yeah, it's been a
Well,
pleasure.
thanks so much. Yeah, it's been really fun, and there's some really amazing battles in here. Hope everyone enjoyed them as much as we did.
Have a good one, Blackmane. Hope to cast with you again in the future.
Yeah, you too, Torsion. See you later.